A warm welcome to A Nurse's Lift to Work with Tina and Kate, coaching podcast by two healthcare professionals. We are friends, we are nurses, master NLP coaches, hypnotherapists, parents and business owners. We are busy people juggling many things just like you.
You are in for a treat. We will chat about informal coaching tips, coping strategies, and how to effectively change your mindset and have some fun along the way. So, hop on board with us for A Nurse's Lift to Work.
Hello, this is Tina.
And I'm Kate, and you're listening to A Nurse's Lift to Work. Hi, everyone.
I know. Welcome, everybody. Now, this episode is going to be a bit of a reflection piece from Kate, who's recently been to the Royal College of Nurses Congress. Kate, what did you think of it?
Well, I just want to point out, everyone, Tina and I haven't talked about this at all. So this might all come out in a little bit of a bleh. Do you know what? It was weird. It was good. It was weird. But the reason why it was weird, because I don't know why I waited so long to, I'm not going to lie, I've never been interested in going to Congress, but I think that's because I didn't really understand or know what it was all about. Because it's one thing, because you get the emails, don't you? And you get, oh, come to this, but it doesn't really do it justice, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think it captures what it really is.
No, so I sat at the back and I was like, why did I wait so long? I think I messaged you, didn't I? And go, why did I wait so long to do this?
Because years and years ago, many years ago, I wasn't wearing crinoline, but, it was a while ago. I was quite involved with the Royal College of Nursing myself. I used to work with them for a while. I was a steward and a professional rep, and I used to go to Congress. So the first time I went, I was just mystified by it. I thought, wow, there's all these debates and discussions. I didn't know this happened. There was voting on these things. People were standing up in all different areas of the hall. I don't know if it was the same when you were there, Kate. Sort of all different nurses from all different kinds of backgrounds, just randomly in some cases, planned in others, standing up and saying what their viewpoints were about certain things. And I thought, God, this is so energizing. Why didn't I know about this?
Yeah. And it's always weird when you don't know what to expect. And I guess I went on my own. So obviously I didn't know anybody, and I was like, la 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 la. But I don't think you ever feel quite so on your own for long, because there's so many different people to talk to. And you know me, listeners, I'm not one to stay quiet, am I? I'm going to talk to you whether you want to talk to me or not.
I guess I would say it's unlikely, but I'm sure that, because there's a bit in the halls, isn't there, when all those debates are going on, but there's other things going on in the background, isn't there? What did you find was going on in the background, Kate?
So in the background, there was, so as well as the debates in the main hall, there were different breakout sessions, all on different topics. And you just picked which one was relevant to you. So when the main debates and voting wasn't on, there was something else. And then they'd got different exhibitions where you could speak to different people about whatever it was that they were doing, the different forums. I didn't even know that there were different forums. I know, listeners, you're probably going, how did she get this far in her career without knowing this stuff? Well, quite easily, actually. So different forums for different things. You've got women's health and education and learning disabilities and this and that and the other. So there's all of that going on as well. And
I just want to hop in and say, Kate, that actually I don't think that you would be unusual in not knowing that. I reckon a lot of our listeners will be listening to this episode, and if they're not very involved with the Royal College or Unison, and if they're not particularly kind of thinking about this stuff, they won't know that there's all these forums. I mean, I sort of almost bumped into the Nursing Older People's Forum at, you know, the beginning part of my career, more by accident than design, and thought, oh, there's a forum for nurses who are into nursing older people. I'll get involved with that. I'll see what they're up to. But I mean, prior to that, I didn't know that.
No, there's loads of stuff, and I probably missed quite a lot. So I only went the Tuesday, Wednesday. It was on Sunday till Thursday, Monday, one of those days anyway. It was a long day though. It was good, but there's so much learning to be had. And I think there's so much to take away from it. I don't even know where to start, Tina.
Well, I'm going to ask you some questions.
Ask me some questions. Yeah.
For listeners who are further afield, we're in the UK, and this is 2025's conference in Liverpool. But I'm sure that there are international nurses equivalents of this. But in the forums, in the places where there were all the talks outside, Kate, what kind of things were on offer?
Oh God, there's so many different things, from hormones, women's hormones, which wasn't just about menopause or perimenopause, prenatal, postnatal hormones, postnatal depression, as well as the perimenopause stuff. They talked about, and I only know this because I asked a student when she came out, men and postpartum, as well as all the other stuff that goes on with it. There was talks with the director of nursing for Wales and the exec team there. I went to that. It was really interesting. AI in education, meet Nurse of the Year, to listen to what they did. Then you'd got the acuity, the staff to patient ratios, how to manage that, suicide in nurses, like the breadth.
Yeah,
there was a big variety.
Yeah, because when I worked for the Royal College of Nursing, I got partly involved on the periphery of the planning of this event, and it's like the biggest nurses pick a mix.
Honestly, that was my favorite. I'm not going to lie, that was my favorite bit, apart from the fact there was so much on, I couldn't decide
where to go.
So in the end, like, some of it was recorded, and I was like, right, that's recorded and that's recorded, so I'm going to go and see the one that's not, because I knew that I could come back and watch it at a later date.
And I think if you're a nurse who thinks, right, am I going to get my CPD all signed up for my re-registration and revalidation, go to Congress, because you'll do it all in 3 days. Or 2 days. You know, write up everything you go to as a reflection, and you've cracked it, really. It is an incredible place to be, I think, around all those nurses.
And the debates I found fascinating. I sat at the back, as you do, and just sat and listened to what was being said. And some of the people who went up, so everybody that wanted to speak went up to the stage, so articulate in their arguments. I was like, wow. And there was a guy, and I'm sure his name was Josh, I wrote his name down, who got a standing ovation when he said what he said. It was amazing. And I sat there and I thought, we need to watch him.
What was he talking about?
I think it was international nurses and hardship.
Oh, wowza.
Yeah.
You see, I've done this, Kate. In my early career, I felt very strongly about ageism in nursing. So I felt that as nurses got older, there was an attitude for the fact that they ought to retire and get gone,
Mhm.
regardless of their competence. It wasn't about their age. It was all about their age, not their competence. And I had a really clear view that we should allow nurses to work beyond traditional retirement age based on competence, not just you've hit this age and now you need to go. So I proposed this as a resolution, and I had to then talk to it. And I think it's the most nervous I've ever been. I was in my mid to late 20s. I stood in the wings, having seen the people go before me. I don't know if the system's still the same, but you go up to a big mic in the middle of a massive stage. There's potentially up to 1,000 people in the crowd, if not more. It's like doing the biggest gig of your nightmares. And in the middle is a microphone, and there's a red, amber and green light. So you get a certain amount of time. They're very strict on it. It goes green, you start talking. And then it goes amber, and you know you're going to be out of time soon. And when it's red, they almost virtually drag you off the stage.
It was the same.
Yeah. And I was in the wings watching this all going on, feeling I was going to be sick. I almost said to the girl behind me, do you have a bucket? Because I think I'm actually going to be sick. And then I took Rescue Remedy, which my friend had given me at the last minute, and whether I psychologically calmed down. And then I got on the stage, and that was that. And actually, it was such a good debate. Because people, you say your bit and then it's debated, and it's just fascinating the way that all happens. So I'm always so impressed by people who have the courage to stand up and get on that stage, and the power of their arguments and how articulate they are. Amazing.
Yeah, it was. It was fascinating to watch, and I did sit there and think, I don't know if I would be able to do that at all. And so yesterday, because I wasn't at Congress yesterday, but yesterday there was a discussion which turned into a voting item about newly qualified nurses and jobs. Now, this has been a big issue and a big talking point, certainly in the Preceptorship for Nurses Facebook group. And I got messages from two of the members of the group who said, I went up and spoke, and I was like, what? Oh my God, in the middle? And they're like, yes. And I'm like, oh my God, that's amazing. To do that, I just think is incredible. And I was so proud that people I knew, although I don't know them, but I do know them, got up there and did that, because it just takes so much courage.
And we can all be in the background muttering about things to ourselves, can't we, that we find annoying about the way nursing is perceived or being dealt with by NHS England or whatever. But actually, if things are on the platform at Congress, something has to happen about them. It absolutely gets people's attention, the right kind of people in the right prominent positions, I suppose, if you want to say that.
And the thing I liked and enjoyed was the variety of topics, and how much it means to different people, and these things that you don't necessarily think about, because if they don't impact you directly, but then when the conversation is being had, you're like, oh yeah. One of my biggest takeaways was that we are, because there was a whole thing about international nurses and finances, as in they pay an awful lot more to do the same thing. And at the end of the day, we're all here for the same reason. So it was keeping that equality and steering away from in inverted commas, of them as internationally trained nurses and us, inverted commas, as homegrown nurses, because we're all here for the same thing. And the people in the room were so diverse. So diverse. It was amazing. And I felt privileged to be there and to be in that company
Yeah.
of so many
Yeah.
different people.
I really recognise that feeling, because I think I felt the same. I think it broadened my horizon massively. As you say, you sat there, people came on the stage to talk about something in women's health, and you thought, well, is that relevant to me? Do I work in women's health? And then you'd get fascinated by what they were saying, and you'd get educated. And yeah, just the breadth of people talking across the ages, across, nationalities, everything. It makes you feel very excited for nursing when you leave, actually. So yeah, I'm glad you had a good time.
Yeah. In between, because I know we're going to finish shortly, but in between they had almost like a seminar kind of thing. One of them was nursing in conflict zones. Wow. That was just, I mean, I think, we think we've got it tough sometimes. Crikey.
Yeah.
It was it was distressing and heartbreaking and inspiring, all in the same boat. And another thing that I didn't realize was when we pay our subscriptions, it's more than just us. So the impact that the RCN has internationally, I had no idea at all. I thought it was us being our island of 4. I didn't realize the other stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I think the Royal College has had its ups and downs politically, but I think it is an incredible organisation, and we don't understand the degree, even the way it supports nurses post-retirement. There's all sorts of things that happen that I think are kind of hidden. And I guess if anyone from the Royal College is listening to this, you probably need to sell your wares a bit better than you do, because people do not know what happens with the money that goes into the Royal College. But yeah, so just before you do go, Kate, when you were having informal conversations, then what kind of good conversations were you having as you were going through this sort of exhibitor hall and all that bit?
Potential changes that are coming to education, to banding, to pay. I did grill quite a few people actually, and then apologise. I'm like, I'm so sorry, I'm asking you lots of questions. Like rah rah rah. Then jobs was one that was coming. The changing face of students, as in we've gone from traditionally younger student nurses coming into university to more mature adults who have got homes, who've got families, who this might be their second and or third career, and the impact that this has, on everything else.
Yeah.
What else? Different products that were coming out from I can't say it, procurement point of view.
Procurement point of view, yeah.
So yeah, lots of different things.
I once got in a conversation with this is years ago, but with an exhibitor about tilt turn beds. Yeah, before they were common, before they were something that we have everywhere now. And he was exhibiting it, and I said, but have you thought about X, Y, and Z, and this, and this? And he said, no. I said, well, why don't you trial it in my hospital? Here's my name, And yeah, they did. And so my hospital that I worked in at the time, we ended up getting 3 of these free tilt-turn beds for a year because we volunteered to test them. And that just came out of a casual conversation and me asking lots of questions like you, Kate, of this poor exhibitor who looked like a rabbit in the headlights. But you never know what you're going to get out of it other than a free pen.
Yes. Disappointingly, and somebody needs to have a word with these exhibitors, black pens, people, not blue ones, black.
Yes, I know. I have mentioned that before, Kate,
What?
actually. Yeah. And I remember once coming away with a water bottle and being quite excited.
There were no water bottles. Sadly, no
Yes.
water bottles.
No, but I was excited.
Yeah.
So I'm very pleased you had a wonderful
I
time.
did. You know what? And I will probably go next year as well.
Fantastic.
Liverpool again next year.
Is
If
it?
you can go, people, do it. Book it.
Yeah.
Book it. It's a free event. The only
Yeah.
thing that you pay for is your travel and the
And
hotel.
yeah, and interestingly, it is a free event. And if you are thinking, well, I know, but I'd have to have a hotel stay and my travel, just talk to your managers, because actually you'd be surprised what your organisation might like to support in the way of training and education that is this kind of thing. And actually, if you said, I will come back and do a little talk, or I will write up a paper that can be shared about what's been discussed at Congress, so all the nurses in my environment can learn about that. And, you know, they might be up for letting you have a bit of support to go. So don't be shy in asking.
And from a networking point of view, for me, that was the key. Everything else was a bonus. I wanted to meet like-minded people, especially when you move from area to area, like I do. To have those conversations is amazing. It is really, really good, and it does change where you come from and your outlook on things.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
So,
Well,
yeah.
thanks for sharing, Kate. I'm so glad you enjoyed it, and you're going to go next year. So we'll get a report next year as well.
You can come with me, Tina, next year.
I'll see what I can do. All right, guys. Thanks for listening. This has been A Nurses Live to Work. I'm Tina.
And I'm Kate.
You've been listening to A Nurses Live to Work with Kate and Tina. Please remember, this is not a replacement for medical treatment or help, so do seek assistance if you need to.
Thank you for joining us. Please do like, subscribe, give us stars, like and share with your friends and colleagues. All the good things.